And here we have IG Tarson spawning as the white Terran pieces in the bottom position. And we have Liquid Nony spawning as the blue Protoss pieces at the right side of the map.
So if we can just go ahead and reveal the map really quickly, this is what we're talking about, especially in these positions. I think for Tarson, these are the ideal positions for him, because if he's pushing from the southwest to Nony's main, he's going to be coming up, and he's going to land right where this little mature chrysalis is, outside Nony's natural. And on the way there, we can see he's defending his natural, and he's also got this third base at the bottom right. So really nice setup for him if he wants to play kind of this late to mid-game tank-heavy push.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, any way you want to push, you're going to have a really easy time defending that bottom third gas expansion. So, I mean, I'm already going to feel at least a little bit comfortable if I can end up scouting my opponent. But, you know, this stage in a tournament, I always found to be the weirdest thing ever. Because, I mean, if I'm just playing on Icy Cup or playing with a friend, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about that girl I have a crush on in my history class or something, you know, or I'm just thinking about pizza, like, just completely letting my mind wander. But when you're at a tournament, I literally, to this day still, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be thinking about, you know? Like, here, I mean, this is probably the most uncomfortable position, is right when you're telling your workers to mine, and you still have not scouted your opponent, because it's that fear of the unknown. You still just don't know what your opponent could or couldn't be doing at this point.
That's so true, and if you ask anyone, I remember a famous interview from the TSL with Cabal, TT1, where he said he's starting off, and he was so nervous he couldn't get over it, and then once we kind of settled into the mid-game, you know, it's muscle memory, and it's just what you're used to. If we take a look at Tarson's base, actually, this probe is being annoying as ever, working on the SCV, and Nony being really good, getting the hits, and then running to the other side, waiting for that SCV to scoot over and dealing tons of damage. Wow, a lot of damage being done by this probe, and again, 3 SCVs off the minerals from Tarson's already.
Yeah, I mean, just a little thing. If you look at Tarson's mining, look at these 2 left patches at the bottom left. There's no mining going on there. One of the SCVs has finally now just sort of auto-mined there, but you know, that's something that your muscles remember to do if you're focused, to make sure each SCV is going to a different mineral patch. But just a little bit of, you know, that left patch, still nothing's mining from it. I mean, little things like that are real big telling sign of kind of the mental state of the player.
And this factory is actually very late. You can see Tarson tried to put down the factory with this SCV that was battling with the probe, and the probe just being annoying, as probes typically are, blocking the factory. So again, everything in Tarson's build again is being pushed forward. It's being pushed later. These little things like, you know, not having the SCVs mining the proper minerals, not having the factory at the perfect timing, really these things do add up. And taking a look at Nony's base, we can see he's gone for a Zealot this time to block SCV scouting, and he's going straight to a Citadel.
Uh-oh, Dark Templar to come. And look at this scouting SCV from Tarson in the middle of the map. It was just hanging out at the 9 o'clock main for quite some time, just kind of chilling there. I mean, that probe harassment, it's kind of funny that Nony's actually scouted his opponent so quickly both times, you know, and that probe actually really did a strong job of harassing. And did he wall himself off with that factory?
I think he did, actually. I don't think a tank can get out there.
No.
He might have to go behind the minerals all the way around, so that's going to suck. You can see he's making a lot of Marines to defend from the Zealot and Dragoon, which aren't coming. And Tarson is sending out another SCV to the middle. I'm not sure where this is going. Maybe it's just going to check the army count of Nony. But the thing I like about Nony is he's a high-level player. He's very solid, but he does, like, kind of builds that are a little, not really non-standard, but he takes risks. And we can see this DT drop is a little bit risky, despite what Artosis will tell you. So I like that he does that. He doesn't just go on robo mode and you know, build a lot of stuff and expand. And there's the probe getting another kill.
Yeah, I mean, I really am curious to see if this. Wow, the tank can fit out. Oh, I'm actually really relieved about that, because I mean, that's one of those situations where a lot of times you just leave. You're just like, all right, I'm not playing this. Because I mean, if you just have to like keep lifting and landing that factory, I mean I would feel bad, but it would also be hilarious. So thank God he's not in that state. Everything instead going very standardly now for Tarson. I mean, we're beating him up over, little things, but, at this point in the game, everything's going as standardly as it should, with an FD opening. We see those mines getting laid that are going to be real, pain in the butt for any sort of early pushing going on. But, uh-oh, look over at Liquid Nony's base. We see 2 Dark Templar getting loaded up into that shuttle already. Or maybe
apparently
one.
only one, and the other one's just going to hang out to defend the ramp, or it's going to walk in. That's a little bit weird. Normally you put them all in the shuttle. Looks like Tarson's deciding to go home now. Now here comes the shuttle. There's a lot of mines in the way, but if we look in the main, the eBay's at about 50%, so that DT is going to be laughing when he's in here for about 2 minutes until a turret gets up. Really unfortunate. And there's there's one mine left in the vultures. He's going to have to be spamming vultures. DT coming out now, and the other DT is sneaking around the side. It's going to walk into a bunch of mines, and this DT is just going to have a field day.
Yeah, I mean, look at this little, oh, this is just such a beautiful positioning by Nony. Look, having that first Dark Templar move out to deal with any push, but then to wander right here to a location where it can easily be loaded up. And meanwhile, the expansion going down for Nony, everything's super solid. I don't know if you got the chance to look, but has Nony gotten range yet for those Dragoons?
I don't think he has, and he's trying to work on the turret. He gets a turret just as it finishes. Second turret's going to finish behind the mineral line, so that's good for Tarson. He's not going to die from this, but, even if... I don't think the point of this was even to kill Tarson. This was more to kill SCVs, put him on the defensive while Nony gets his gateway count up, expands again, and then takes it to the mid-game. So a lot of damage still being done, despite, he's not going to die to the Dark Templar, but he's going to lose a lot of things.
Yeah, and I mean, there's only one turret there. I still haven't seen a turret get planted by that expansion, so I mean, if the shuttle just wanders itself on over there, I mean, he'll be able to just completely halt all mining there. I mean, I feel like a little bit too much tunnel vision going on here. I mean, that shuttle still, look at it, here it is, coming down to the natural expansion. I'm not so certain Tarson's going to be able to hold this one off.
Oh, very true. There's no mines back there. 2 Dark Templar loaded right into the main, unless they wander, or right into the mineral line, excuse me, unless they wander in the mine! Oh, I don't think that was on purpose. A bit of an accidental mine drag into the SCVs. If it was on purpose, he's got some sort of psychic x-ray vision to see those. But now just going to town, every SCV at the natural done, and Tarson is done. He taps out GG in record time.
Yeah, wow, that's 2 incredibly fast games in a row. Both of them are under the 9-minute mark. Actually, I think this one was under the 8-minute mark. I mean, just seriously getting shaken up. I mean, I really feel like that first probe is just not getting enough credit. I mean, that is just really kind of getting things not quite in the position that you'd want, and then everything starts to go a little bit wrong. And really, if you're playing in a tournament game, when things start to go a little bit wrong, you just really want them to get back to normal, and then you take a big deep breath and you're like, oh, alright, great. And that period did seem to happen in this game, but only for a few seconds, because that's right when Tarson was moving forward with that FD push, at which point suddenly 2 Dark Templar were dropped in his main and there was really nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, I feel like if Tarson had gotten another scout there to just take a look at the ramp, saw the Dragoon count is down, then he would have made that eBay a little faster, and started spamming turrets to defend from Dark Templar or Reavers. Again, nothing too wrong from him. A lot of credit to Nony for taking these kind of risks in this big a game, and that's why I think Nony is such a dangerous opponent, especially in PvT, where Protoss has so many options, because Nony exercises all of them. He'll proxy gate, he'll go DTs, he'll 12 Nexus. You never know, and that's the hallmark of a champion who's able to kind of wear all these hats.
Yeah, and fortunately, I think this next map, Outsider, is going to be a nice little relief for Tarson. I mean, he's down 0-2, but on this map, it's a very, I guess I want to say, a forgiving map. I mean, I think it's incredibly, incredibly difficult, just in terms of, comparing it to something like Python or Luna. But if you do an early push and something goes wrong, you always have those ring expansions to sort of, rely on, sort of suck up. I'm curious, though, if Nony's going to be surprising us with something unorthodox, because he's mentioned to me, and I've seen a lot on his stream, him going scouts against Terran. So I'm hoping to see something fancy like that go on this game.
Wow. If anyone knows me, I love scouts, so I'll always be excited to see that.
We are scout aficionados here.
The other thing to think about is Nony's looking ahead to Idra. We always want to say you don't want to look through your opponent, but I think Nony's the kind of guy who is looking through Tarson. So maybe if he has a build, for Outsider, he's not going to want to use it because he's going to be playing Idra next. Idra's probably going to, if he doesn't watch this, he's going to hear about it, and then he's going to know what Nony does on Outsider. So if he has some like sneaky secret strategy, we may not see it here today.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Nothing would please me more than to see Idra 3-0'd by scouts only. That would be quite a throwback to, you know, like pre-beta 94 StarCraft. When it was using the Warcraft 2 engine, I'd be like, yeah, taking a tip from the olden days. But now to actually talk about the map seriously, I think the most common trend to think about on Outsider in this matchup is the fact that Terran generally goes for the outside ring and sort of gets control of that early on, just sort of expands there, really comfortable with that, and then the Terran turtles really hard. So Protoss takes this opportunity to gain expansions in the center. They'll take those mineral naturals in the center, they'll take the other main, and then as Terran gets this huge death ball army, the Terran will push out into the middle, and Protoss will sort of go back to the ring and sort of trade off who has control of center of the ring. So the Protoss will be doing recalls along the outside edge, we'll be doing shuttle drops there, and expanding along the outside ring, and then Terran with his big, 2-1 death army, he'll be the one, taking control of the center now that he has all those units there. So that's always my favorite part about this map, is seeing when that Terran player pushes out to see if that switch gets flipped.
Yeah, that's very true, and it's not uncommon to see Protoss lose their natural to that big Terran push, and then just kind of hold up on the ramp and use Arbiters and Psionic Storm to hold the ramp, and then be recalling around into the main of Terran and those outside ring expansion. And that's a very difficult spot for Terran to be in. Another difficult part about this map is if Protoss decides to, as you said, take the middle expansions and then go Reavers and actually add multiple shuttles, it can be really difficult if Terran's not countering with a lot of dropships to keep up with that, with just small like Dragoon Reaver armies being dropped behind the inside ring minerals. That's a really tough situation for Terran to deal with, and then it doesn't get any easier as the size of armies being moved around is amplified by Arbiter's recall spell. So again, we were talking about the mobility of Terran. This map is going to test it a little more in terms of air mobility and denying that Arbiter recall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely my favorite part about Outsider, is it's just, there are so many options on this map. And I mean, even though I was saying it's a hard map, I mean, for any experienced player, the longer the game goes on, the more comfort you have. And I think that Outsider is a nice map. It affords longer games. So I think this, we'll hopefully be able to see Tarson be able to really demonstrate his true colors instead of letting his nerves get to him in this intense spot.
That's very true. With that being said, let's move on to Game 3 in the round of 16, Day 2 of the PokerStrategy.com TSL. Let's get it going.